What would be three free yet extremely powerful design resources for someone who is just entering design?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there are a few free, absolutely free resources or advice I can give. And the most important thing I learned and something I wish I knew early on is to learn detach yourself from your work. And this, by the way, connects a little with the first thing we discussed about not conflating ourselves with the job we do, right? Our job shouldn't define who we are. And when I'm talking about detaching yourself from your work is because lots of feedback will be given over your career about your work. Some feedback will be positive, some feedback will be harsh, some feedback will be very almost scrutinizing your mistakes. And some feedback will be also genuine and truly aimed at improving your trajectory or the work you are doing. But this feedback will come, is there. Be prepared for it. And the sooner you learn to detach yourself from your work, the sooner you can embrace that feedback without feeling personally attacked. So feedback about your work is not a note or finger pointing at yourself as a person. This is something that took me quite a few years to develop, right? I wish I learned this sooner. So it's very important advice I can give to people who are just starting or that are struggling at getting feedback. And another free resource will be to stay curious, right? Keep your eyes always open for trends and best practices out there, and also open for opportunities. Don't be scared of jumping on new, exciting things. The tech industry moves rapidly, and learning new things will always pay back in the long term. It's important to also stay focused, right? Not to get into every single rabbit hole we see out there, but it's also very important to stay curious and not to get stuck in our day-to-day responsibilities. And kind of related, I think, and I encourage everyone to find their superpower. Being a great designer, I truly believe being a great designer is enough to have a successful and fulfilling career. Right? But when we pair these with an additional skill, perhaps a very personal one, even greater things can happen, right? So you might be a community builder, or you might be a very technical and detail-oriented person, or you might be a great evangelist, or I don't know, you might even be a designer who can code, right? This superpower added on top, work as a great designer, is what's going to make you unique and potentially even inform the long-term trajectory of your career, right? So I encourage everyone to find their superpower. Sometimes that takes time. Sometimes that is clear since the beginning because it's a personal trait of our character. But regardless, this superpower is what makes things compound real quick. Because being a great designer becomes the baseline, and then what pushes us forward even more is this additional skill set that we bring to the table. And personally, that has been code, right? When I started back then, there was no product designer. The label for my job was web designer, and I teach myself how to code. And those learnings paid great dividends later on. And I don't code anymore, definitely not on my day-to-day. During my day-to-day job, I code as a passion for some side projects, but ultimately that was my superpower initially, and it's also the skill that got me very interested in systems, because one aspect of design systems is to building bridges and connect the development and the design world. And having that superpower really helped myself kickstarting a conversation with our partners and also truly understand their unique challenges. So yes, to recap, I believe it was learn to detach yourself from your work, stay curious, and find your superpower. They are all free. They obviously take a lot of effort, but there is no money whatsoever involved in this.
Awesome. These were fabulous answers. I'm pretty sure that when this goes live, a lot of people are going to love this episode.
You just saw a snippet from whiteboard.fm. You can watch the entire episode by clicking on the link in description. We have hundreds of clips on design case studies, hiring processes, and much more. This podcast is a part of the 10K Designers Network. Check out our website whiteboard.fm to learn more.